Hi, I'm Robin McClendon and welcome to my channel. Here we regulate the nervous system through creative, spiritual, and Zen practices. Pause 31 is all about the idea of being the ritual of making. So yes, it comes out of silence, and silence last week was a big one because it really caused me to spend even more quiet time. Less time on social media. I was not surfing or continuing to do my reading and just enjoying that quiet time. And I really got to thinking about the ritual of making, like when you really are spending time away from everything and you're just in your studio or you're in your house and you're making food or you're, what came up for me actually this week is that I was kind of low on, some of the food that I wanted. And I was thinking, I got to go out to the grocery store, and grocery shopping has never been my thing ever. And so, it's like, I don't really want to go out. And then I just thought about how I didn't have like a closet full of supplies the way I used to have when my kids were growing up, because I used to always can. Me and my sister did canning, and we made peach jam and applesauce and all kind of jellies and, pickled beets and you name it. And I also made my own bread. I had one of those bread machines, and you put all the elements in, put it on. A few hours later you have bread. And so I was very particular about how I fed my kids as well. So I had them on really a high mineral sort of impact kind of diet when they were growing up to really help to build their immune system. So I was really particular in the kitchen. I made my own peanut butter. I was making their own milk, you name it. So I was thinking about how I had gotten out of the ritual of making certain things, like making my bread, preserving, and then not even having the supplies, because part of anything being a ritual, right, is we have to have my book here. I love these pages. We really need the supplies to be able to carry that ritual out, right? So with bread making, there's certain things that come along with it. Now, I did have my flour and baking powder and soda and stuff like that, but I didn't have the right tins and the different baking stuff, and I was missing something else that I didn't have on the shelf. And I thought, oh my goodness, or just being able to reach for some canned foods and stuff. And then I thought it sent me down this road of what else did I even just used to do not too long ago that I'm not doing, where I'm not taking responsibility for, or not even responsibility. It's not even about that. It's about the joy of making. It's just enjoying making bread and smelling that hot bread, just smell of it just wafting through the house, or opening up a fresh, jar of jam and just enjoying that, or homemade applesauce. You know what I mean? It just has a different kind of pleasure that comes with it. And it does become a ritual of making, because I remember I'd have the canning things out, the jars, the tongs, this, that, jars all ready to go. You guys who've canned, it's a process. But it's an enjoyable process. And for me, I've moved away from some of that. So I spent this week really thinking about what rituals of making would I like to actually really bring back in, Definitely it's bread making, and definitely the most recent jams I've made has been cranberry jam. I'll do that a lot at the holidays because you get the fresh cranberries, and it's so easy to cook that down into a jam. And so I thought, like getting back into more of that. But the ritual of making. And of course that extends into our studio, all the things that maybe you want to try, but you haven't gotten the supplies for them yet because it's like, oh my goodness, like it's 7 or 8 or 9 things that you're like, I don't want to spend the money, we all go through that. But maybe it's like getting the list together and then sourcing them at the thrift shops and the charity shops, because it's amazing how much supplies, how many art supplies. You go to the art supply shelving of your local thrift or charity shop, it is full of stuff. It's the stuff that I've gotten there. Like, I've gotten a crazy collection of, what are those? The crocodiles. I bought my first one, because things are like $60, and I got my first one using a Michael's coupon, a rare Michael's coupon of 30% off. And so I was able to get it for a good price. I said, let me grab that crocodile. Since then, at the thrift stores, I've gotten like 3 or 4 more. I've actually given them away to some friends because you just find them. So it's amazing what supplies you might not want to put money on that you can find at the thrift store. So I think it's about focus, right? Making our lists, being focused on what we want to do, and then sourcing those supplies versus sort of giving up on it and saying, oh, I don't know, maybe another time. And I think it's that purposeful sourcing that comes with our desire to make that is like a part of that ritual. And I think we think about rituals in the ways of like lighting candles, creating a cozy environment, lighting the fire, having tea. And those are all rituals, but I'm telling you, there are a ton of rituals I know I am missing out on that would really bring a fullness into my life. So anyway, this week, that's what I've been dealing with, is making my list, creating lists of the supplies that I need for them, and also thinking about my art in a similar way, because there's even things with my art that I'm not always doing. Like, I love, many of you love staining. I had to think, ego staining. And I do too. And I have setups for them, but I was thinking I would really just like to make maybe at least a monthly, if not twice a month, ritual of staining, like batches. I love that. I use so much of it in my work. And maybe once a month, but there's sort of that ritual of doing that, right? And just kind of keeping those things that I enjoy doing in my studio going on some kind of like a little schedule to just constantly bring in that joy and that excitement around making and having these things available. So those are just some ideas, but let me show you. So this is this week's journal. So remember last week I was using this print, I wrapped it around, so I decided to leave that there and then added some more paper, and this is where I wrote the ritual of making, and over here was some of my scripting, and I really like this piece. Now, speaking of staining, like when I saw this, it reminded me of doing the more regular staining because I really like this, and I only ended up doing this once, and this is on paper towels, and I thought, I really want to do more of that. Maybe the things that I want to repeat, I'll just do a list, just kind of keep a journal right here on my desk and just keep a list, and then create a calendar and just kind of start, when I do my staining, I'm like, okay, this is one I want to do. And, maybe another one that I've run out of, or gel prints. I want to do some more of these using these masks because I really like those. So, it's just like making our lists so that we can kind of create this ritual around our art, around our time in our studios or whatever we're doing, the time in our kitchens, or whatever your passion is, whatever you're really enjoying, for us to really create that space of making. So this week we get to think about making a little differently and just think about, what it would take to make it fuller for you and more complete and maybe a little bit more full of passion. Hey creatives, I just want to let you know about this month's First Friday offer. I'm going to be doing it different, changing it up again, hearing what you guys have been asking me, and many of you have been wanting the Zoom sessions to come back. You really like the interactive atmosphere of us all having our gel plates out, our workout on our desks, and I'm showing you real time. You can ask me real time questions, and we can really kind of challenge ourselves and work through some of the techniques to really get to some really cool places. I miss doing those Zoom sessions as well, so I'm bringing them back. So with the first Friday Founder Circle price, which is $37, from Friday when the cart opens, which would have been yesterday, through Monday, you can grab the course. The way it's going to work is that there's normally going to be a good week between when the sale closes and the Zoom session, so it gives plenty of time to go into the course, see what the supplies are, get an idea of what you'll need, and then gather all your supplies and then meet me on the Zoom session. They'll generally be on a Sunday, about 11 a.m. Pacific time. So it's really a good time for most people globally. And also, if you can't make the session, don't worry, because it will be recorded. And when the recording is complete, it'll be uploaded into the same course where the supplies and everything are, where you found the Zoom link. That Zoom link will be replaced with the actual video. So those who can't get it, get to the Zoom session, you'll be able to watch it, and everybody who was in the Zoom room with me, you get to rewatch it, because there's a lot of value in looking at things again and working through things and figuring out and go back and look at it again. So I think it's the best of both worlds for everyone, and I'm excited. So the first one will be Sunday the 14th, I believe. It'll be next Sunday. It'll be all the information will be in the course. Don't worry, it's all in there, the supply list and what have you. So click the link below. After Monday, the price goes up to $111, and I don't make exceptions because so many of you grab it during the weekend, and I feel it's not fair to those who do it to change the price. So you guys get what I'm saying. Alrighty. Look forward to seeing you. It's going to be gel printing. We're going to be working with symbols, creating our own symbols, creating ancient symbols, maybe symbols that you already love. We can recreate. It won't be using a glue gun. It's going to be another completely different. I've never shown this before, so it's new. I haven't shown it before. It's not even in the book. It's just a fun technique that I stumbled upon with another artist that I, hang out with, and we were just sort of playing around, and it's really cool. So I look forward to seeing you all in the course. So the link is below. So I invite you to do the ritual of making this week. Have an amazing time in your studios. Love you all, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.